quick way to start. Welcome on in, everybody. Again, no intro song, no intro music, no intro nothing. We're just here getting things going. Welcome on in, everybody, to Call of Cthulhu, the continuation, the aftermath of the previous game, which I believe had a none was called None More Black, if I'm not mistaken, was the previous big adventure. So this is kind of the aftermath of None More Black, and I think there is a name for it, but I don't know what it is. So I can go in and edit that after the game's over, but sometimes the titles give things away, so I'm not going to ask what the title is until we're all done. So with that being said, welcome on in, everybody. Hello, Bat Dark Lady Vampire. Welcome on in. Hello, Lyric Lost. Of course, we've got all of our streamers are in here as well. So welcome on in. Matt here is officially first, and everybody else is officially not first. Bat Dark Lady Vampire is unofficially first, though. Unofficially first. The first person to actually chat in chat. So welcome on in. For those of you that don't know, Call of Cthulhu is also a dark world with dark themes. So keep that in mind. Consider this your warning that there are trigger warnings of things that include alcohol, drugs, sex, horror, graphic stuff. So that's all part of Call of Cthulhu. Whether or not that happens today or not, who knows? We don't necessarily. I don't think any of that's really been an issue so far. But that doesn't mean that it won't be or can't be later down the road. So welcome in, everybody. Thank you for being here. With that being said, there are channel points as well that you can redeem within the game. Some of them there's an RPG bad luck one, which will give the rollers a bad luck. There is a extra dice for the GM extra dice, so that gives the GM an extra chance. A lot of these are not good for the players. There is also an RPG extra skill dice, so you can get extra dice in for your skills. So definitely know that you can redeem those to screw things over in the game or help maybe a little bit as well. So if there is a pause in the game or a moment, just know that not everybody's feeling the most well. So there might be like muting of some of our chats or whatever. And if there's a moment of silence, please just stick around and hang out. The Tangia Dungeon is still up and running, so you can still run the Tangia Dungeons. You can still get your loot for that. So make sure to get that and play those. We are still working on getting Algos Live off the ground. If you don't know what Algos Live is, they just released their website. And I'm saying this because we used to play something called Stream Raiders during our RPGs. Well, they have officially announced that Algos Live, the website, is officially live, and that's going to kind of be the new Stream Raiders, and it's a lot more intuitive. It's going to work with Twitch. We'll be able to do a lot more stuff with that as well. There will be a panel that you can work on. It's currently in the Kickstarter. If you want to check out Algos Live, it is right there, but that will be coming. And once I get access, which I'm sure I will get beta access being an old school Stream Raiders captain, we will get that started on here and we can all check it out and place units just like Stream Raiders, but it's got a lot more stuff to it. I'm not going to go too deeply into it, but being an RPG stream and us having done a lot of Stream Raiders, I want to make sure that gets mentioned, that is something that will be happening down the road again, and we will have a new game to play in the background besides Tangia Dungeon. With that being said, that's it. I'm going to let Rachel take on over. I tried to assume control of announcing what the channel points would be for the game, so she doesn't have to worry about that. So go ahead, Rachel, take us back into yesteryear.
Yeah. So the last we left off was actually a very somber moment for our group as we were attending the funeral of David Wilcox, a magician that has been working with the group here in Arkham on investigations that came to his untimely yet heroic death during None More Black. New characters introduced was William Wilcox, David's father, Betsy Wilcox, David's mother, and then Ronnie Wilcox, David's brother. During the funeral, some family friends of the Wilcoxes, who in Arkham, the Wilcox family owns a magic shop and are in the um, world and kind of scene of stage magicians and um, your typical magic arts. And one of their friends, Ingrid, came up to Betsy and asked about a letter that she had sent David in regards to some concerns that she had about her father having gone missing for a period of time. After talking to her further at the funeral, they came to find out that there had been three people that had broken into her father's house and were killed. And while the police had ruled that the deaths were from the assailants fighting over loot, there's more suspicions. And so she has asked the investigators to help her look into this. There's also, with talk of the other magicians there at the funeral, been speculation about some of the performances for both Ingrid's father and her fiance being a little too strange and unable for many talented musicians to figure out. And so Max gave Melissa a bunch of tickets to go see a magic show to see if she can figure out the secret, as she is a scientist, as to how this trick is actually done. Where we left off, though, was at the Wilcox home, where Ronnie, David, or Ronnie, William, and Betsy have been finding out more of David's secrets, as typically it's if when you expect to die, you know, tell one of your friends to throw away a certain box or two before your family gets to it.
Clear your
And
browsing data.
well, yeah, clear your cache.
Why would they have to clear away a box? What would be in that box there, Rachel?
Yeah. David did not do that. And so William and Betsy have both stumbled upon, well, Betsy's in bed now, but we left off with William stumbling upon a severed, singing, mummified head on one side of the closet in David's apartment. And then on the other side, a little brewing station. And Ronnie has just said goodnight to Stanley after pulling him into a bit of an awkward conversation that Stanley has luckily been able to nope right out of. And Betsy was put to bed. So me switch us and roll 20 real quick. All right. Can everybody see the new screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just put together those pictures just for some kind of ambiance of David's apartment above the magic shop. So Ronnie, Stanley's just left, and William, you are in your son's closet with it's a
So this is
on
in the
one
apartment,
upper
not in the parents' house.
well, the parents' house is connected to the magic shop, and then David has an apartment above the magic shop.
Okay. But it's in his apartment, not where they live, right?
Yeah.
Because I was under the understanding that they were two separate locations, and we were going to go ahead to his apartment.
Well, So it's the magic shop's connected to David's parents' house, and then David has a apartment above there. There's another apartment that David has that none of the family knows about.
Okay. And so this
Um,
stuff is found in the apartment, not in the parents' home.
It's in the, yeah, but it's connected to the parents' home. So basically you're in the same location.
Okay,
It-
so it's all
Kinda
one
like
thing.
an
There is no.
in-law.
It's the home has the apartment.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
Kind of like an in-law apartment sort of
Yeah.
deal.
Exactly like that, Brian.
Yep. So Roddy, you're in the section of the parents' house. William, you're in the mother-in-law apartment or David's apartment above the magic shop.
Gotcha.
So I think probably logically it makes sense to start with you, William.
Okay.
And we had you make a sanity check last game.
Yeah. Yeah,
you
let me.
and I think I
I
already had you mark down your points and stuff.
believe so, because I am down a tiny bit
Yeah.
of sanity. I'm like at 58. Or 59, pardon me. William, so the horror of finding this creepy skull with carved runes and stuff in it, absolutely horrifying. I think William is gonna quickly and quietly, so as not to wake Daisy, or no, to wake Betsy, pardon me. You think I know my wife. All right. I'm gonna quickly gather and quietly gather it all up in like a box or of some kind, or like a, I don't know, maybe a milk crate or something.
Sure. So you're gonna gather up the head. Are you gonna take a look at the? Well, let's do a do a spot hidden.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Wow.
Well, you very easily find a suitcase in his closet.
Perfect.
Probably figured that's probably better because it has a lid.
Good call. Good call.
You do start to, when you pick up the head, it stops singing
Okay.
and it kind of just goes slack. And you can, do you pick it up with your hands or do you grab something to kind of wrap it in?
No, I'll grab like maybe like one of his shirts or something along the, from in the closet to sort of wrap around and cover it, and then shove it in the
Yeah.
suitcase.
So as you're interacting with the head, and do you have medicine or any sort of
I've got a
first
little
aid?
first aid. I do have a little bit of training in first aid.
Or anthropology or history? Otherwise,
I
first
have a
aid will
1 in
work.
anthropology. I have a 1 in archaeology.
Yeah, I would just say roll whatever one of those.
I have history.
Yeah, I would say roll either history or first aid. First aid would probably make a little bit more sense, but it's kind of like dating.
Okay, which would you, I guess, which would you prefer?
Why don't you do first aid?
Okay. Well,
Oh,
that's not good.
well, you kind of like try to comprehend, because the first thought that goes through your head, like where did he get this? how recently is this? Did my son commit a murder?
Right. Right.
And you don't notice, like you can't even bring yourself to really like study it to see how recently this person was living
And that's
prior.
fine with me.
Yeah, you kind of just shove it in the suitcase.
Yeah.
With that, I will say you're not very quiet about it. So, Ronnie, you can hear rustling up, kind of through, like in the upper level of the house.
Okay. Well, my plan was to go there anyhow
Yeah.
after we got things cleaned up because I was like, I gotta go clean his
Yeah.
stuff
So probably, so
before
if you're
dad
heading up
dad
there,
gets there was the idea,
yeah,
but too late now.
yeah, too late. So yeah, kind of as you're going up there, you hear, that probably wasn't your first thought of somebody fumbling around with a severed head, but you hear your dad fumbling around and sounds like some stuff getting knocked over, like kind of like golf clubs in a closet type thing.
Yeah, I'll just run up there and see what he's.
Yeah, the skull, any of my son's notes,
Yeah.
any creepy scrolls, books, or tomes, all getting shuffled into that suitcase.
Yep. You
And then you said he had like a little like chemistry alchemical apparatus thing or something.
Yep.
Is there
So
any like oil or kerosene or anything like
wait,
for fuel?
yeah, there's not really oil when
And
you
that's okay.
when you kind of start like peeking in there. You do find, and I'll show this handout to both you and Ronnie, a paper that is kind of neatly tucked underneath one of the beakers.
Okay.
Let me see. Did that pop up for you?
I got nothing that popped up.
Okay, hang on.
What would it be listed under?
It would be under handouts, but I don't think I did it right.
I'm not seeing a thing for hand. Oh, there we go.
Something
Now it popped up.
Something ended up in my list.
Prior game handouts. There we go.
Yep. Should be titled Space Mead.
Yeah.
I do not. I don't see that. I see a Call the Black and then a David's
It'll
drawing.
be up above those. It's not in the drop downs, it's in the main overall area.
Oh, there. Okay.
Yeah, because it's not a prior game handout, it's a current game handout.
Yeah. Ronnie, you come into the apartment and you see your father rummaging through the closet, and you see a suitcase that he hasn't closed just quite yet, that's open, with kind of an oddly shaped object wrapped in a shirt. And then he's playing with some beaker sets.
While he's doing that, I'll just look and see what's in the suitcase.
Okay. Remind me, did you see any of the heads before?
I want to say I saw something, or I knew of something, or somebody said something at the door that made me go, I've got to get rid of a bunch of shit so the mom and dad don't see it. I don't remember exactly what it is, what it was.
I don't think you actually saw the head.
Yeah, I don't think I actually saw the head, but I think that there was something that was said to me.
I think that's what you talked to Stanley about.
Yeah, I think Stanley gave me the lowdown of all of the weird shit that had happened, or at least some of it.
So as you look in there and you kind of you start to unwrap it, you see a severed head, eyes open, mouth agape. On its mummified skin are a bunch of runes carved into the flesh. go ahead and, well, give me a sanity check.
Yeah, I got a sanity.
Hey.
So you succeeded.
I succeed and like
So,
probably
so
swear a little bit.
yeah, you kind of know you were kind of braced for this,
Yeah,
and you're kind of more disappointed that your dad had to find it first.
right.
That you couldn't keep that secret from him.
Yeah.
When I
Oh,
see Ronnie come into the room and look at the suitcase, I'm like, quickly go downstairs and grab whatever lighter, kerosene or oil we have. We are burning all of this tonight.
Well, let's bring it all outside first because we don't want to burn it in the bedroom.
Yes, of course,
So
son.
Ronnie's like, let's pack it all up. And Ronnie will
Which
just
is
grab a
what-
sheet. We'll grab a bed sheet and start putting it in the bed sheet so we can carry it because it's not all going to fit in the briefcase. Like, Dad, it's not going to fit in the briefcase. Throw it in the bed sheet and start getting it set to carry the whole bed sheet out.
Fair.
William, you do notice something else with your regular spot hidden.
Okay.
In the bottom of the closet on like the right-hand side, you see a secret compartment. Or you see like a floorboard that it's probably not, you would have noticed it earlier if it was like out in the open, but it's hidden
Sure.
because it's in the corner of the room. It's not like a well-crafted like hidey hole, but
Okay.
hidey hole. But it's more like somebody pried open a floorboard or
Okay.
found a loose floorboard. And so you can very easily see that there's a loose floorboard that you can move.
I guess I'll open it up.
And Matt, do you want to describe all what's in there?
There's a bunch of rubbings in there of what looks to be like rubbings of a wall and like different runes and hieroglyphics and stuff. And then underneath those stacks of papers is a key to another building. And that's what's in there.
And they go, Dad, Mom's probably had a hard day. Let me take care of all this stuff and maybe you go make sure she's okay.
No, I don't want you to touch this. We need to burn it, all of it. I don't.
I will burn
this,
it. You take care of Mom.
Your mother
Is having a hard time and has been seeing things.
You promised me you'll burn all of it.
Yeah, I didn't want you to see any of it. I was going to do it without you knowing.
What was he into?
Frankly, I don't know. And I really don't give a shit. My entire life's been trying to fix his problems and help the family. And now I'm just doing it again, and he's not even here for me to fucking yell at him about it. So let me do it one more time. You take care of Mom, and I'll take care of the family.
Very, very well. Being that he had these hidden as separate from the rest of this stuff, you may want to look to see if he has any other hidey holes full of stuff.
All right.
Either that or promise that when me and your mom die, that you burn the whole place to the ground just to be safe.
Well, and I'll talk to his friends maybe. They might know something. And plus, you got to get up early then our family friends need our help as well with that other stuff. We'll take care of this before that. I'll get a couple hours of sleep, and then we'll all meet over there for whatever this event is to help their family. And dear God, let's hope it's not tied together.
All right.
William, do you have a Cthulhu Mythos skill? Otherwise, you can roll.
I have a Cthulhu Mythos of 0.
Okay. But you do have magic, right? Even though it's stage magic.
Which is I
think it's
have
arts and crafts, probably.
Sorry, hold on a second here. I have sleight of hand. I'm not seeing a magic
You probably did
skill.
the same thing I did, and didn't realize that it was under art craft.
Yeah.
I'm looking under, stage magic. Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, I see where it, gotcha. I was looking for an arts and crafts skill, not a
It's
subheading.
not a section.
So yeah,
right?
sorry, stage magic of 55. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that.
Okay.
So, like,
Get a
your,
check mark.
yeah, one, get a check mark.
Oh, okay.
Two, like your background is in stage magic and
Right.
like and theater, but like you've been in the industry long enough that you know that there's like the talks of excuse me, certain magicians that kind of go a little bit taboo with some sorts of magic, or kind of
Like tapping
really
into the macabre
or like looking into like the Salem witch trials,
okay.
or like, you know, magic from like distant lands. Like even Ingrid's father, like he would often travel to a lot of different countries to like study magic from like different mystics or whatever.
Yeah,
And
but that's to sell the bit. That's not to, it's not, I mean,
yeah, it's not real,
right.
but you've kind of heard of some people that get a little bit too far into it, in your opinion, that maybe like to them it's not necessarily a bit, even though it's pretty ludicrous. And
And seems like my son is one of them.
yeah. And paper that you found, it's like what you've like read before, like of like, you know, because there's books of like it's like spells and stuff that you know you've always kind of thought is hokey, or
Right.
just, you know, stuff that's made up stuff, or like stuff that's again progressing the story of a bit. And the way that this is written out is a spell. And the beakers and everything is a potion. It's alchemical.
Sure.
So it's a mixture between a spell and alchemy. With that in mind, like burning the head, burning like the papers, that should be fine. if you don't know necessarily, maybe the best way to destroy the alchemical stuff.
Sure.
And like I'm kind of giving that to you just because like, you know, you've been in this business for 40 years.
Right. Right.
And like maybe it's just beer or like whatever. And maybe it's nothing. But there's
Okay.
just like a little bit of a caution.
Okay. I'm gonna look over uh at Ronnie. Hey, son, before we destroy this, I think you are right. We should talk to his friends. Um, the the young lass, the archaeologist, if I recall, was it? Maybe maybe Brian's getting that fucked up. Uh,
Chris is a geologist and then
geologist. Sorry,
but Melissa, you're a biologist, right? You're basically almost a doctor. Scientist.
Yeah, biology, chemistry.
Yeah.
maybe we should discuss it with them before we destroy it.
Before we destroy what?
But
A severed head that we found in my brother's room?
no, that we need to go. But the papers and the documents and the scribblings, even this chemistry set here.
Like, I don't give two shits about the chemistry set. Every scientist, every school has one of those. I'm talking about the weird
Well,
shit he's gotten into.
Trust me, that counts. It's I think your brother was well, I fear he was getting a little bit too lost in the magic show, if you will.
Ronnie like slams down whatever he's got in his hand. He goes, "Oh, now you figure that out. 20 years later. Good job, Dad." And he goes back to packing the shit up.
I spin him around. And it's like, you listen here. And you listen good. I know we've had our issues, but you are not disrespecting me in my house.
Ronnie stops and says quietly, and goes, "If it was my brother, he would have gotten away with it."
You think so?
I know so. He got away with everything. Hell, he abandoned the whole damn family. And nobody said a thing. It was always, "Oh, he's a hero. He's great." Meanwhile, we're starving. So, okay, Dad, I won't disrespect you. I'll let you do it yourself. And goes back, turns around and goes back to fixing, throwing stuff. Now it's much more angrily throwing stuff into a pile of linens. "Oh yeah, you wanted his papers? Here you go." It sets it aside and like just lets him slide across the floor. We'll make sure not to burn his whatever his chaotic insanity is. And then he'll just stop and probably start crying. Because he's also overwhelmed.
And William will just not really knowing what to say, will just head back to Betsy and
When you
try to,
hit the door, Ronnie will say, "Dad," and he'll come over and be like,
yes.
"I'm sorry," and give you a hug. I spent all these years being angry at him, and now he's gone, and we don't ever get to fix that. We don't ever get to fix it. I can't fix it. We never got a chance to fix it, Dad.
And William just kind of drops into tears too and just holds you.
Kind of sidelining. Betsy, did you actually go to sleep?
That's a good question. I want to roll like a constitution check with like disadvantage.
Okay.
Just because like it's been a hard day
Yeah.
and she is seeing things, which is problematic. Oh, I failed on my first one. Yeah, Betsy goes to bed.
Okay. So I will not give you a spot roll. Or listen.
Like, is there
So
a reroll?
as
Can I give him a reroll? Nope, that's not a thing. That's not a thing for this game.
I mean, you could do,
You can give bad luck, but that won't help.
yeah. I mean, I guess if it's bad luck to you, if your mom overhears.
It's true.
But for the first time in a long time, you and your dad actually like have a moment of emotional connection. And while it kind of sucks, but it's actually kind of cathartic at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you both go burn the severed head together?
I think after a while, Ronnie would pull off and be like, "You should take care of Mom. I'll get this. I'll separate the shit you don't want burned."
Okay. And you just kind of eventually pulling back to sort of the status quo demeanor a little bit, but puts a hand on your shoulder and just kind of pats it and nods, and then we'll head back and go to bed.
Ronnie will spend the night cleaning
Mm-hmm.
the mess that he made and trying to organize all the stuff that his dad kind of wanted separated for whatever reason, and then he will literally burn the rest. Like take the trash can. It's the 20s. The trash cans are steel. Take the trash out back and light it up.
Yep. As you light the head and the other contents that you're burning.
And we'll put the rest of our garbage in there too, because why pay for that to get hauled out?
I'll have you make a constitution check, probably, and I'll actually make you make that at disadvantage just because it smells.
Well, gotta explain the smell of a severed head to if somebody comes looking.
Well, it's like I don't know. I think
Hey.
oh, Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
So you managed not to like throw up, and you grab a handkerchief. Like you think about it, like right after you start the fire, that hey, this is probably not gonna,
Yeah, this is gonna stink.
this is gonna be horrible. And as you're watching it burn, because you're kind of paranoid now too.
Yeah.
Like you want to make sure that like it burns and there's nothing left. And you first think it's like the crackle of the fire and like the pops of, you know, the various trash and metal in the fire pit. But you start to realize that you hear a voice and a melody as you see that the suitcase has started to burn away, and you can just barely see in the flames like the burning flesh rapidly burning away, kind of like, you know, really dried paper. But you still hear the sound of someone singing as the mouth is open. And it's not, you know, it's a language. You don't know what the language is, and it's not solid words. It's more like sounds
Okay.
of this head singing in the flames. And as the song reaches its crescendo, the fires burst up in like a flare, like somebody threw gasoline onto it,
Okay.
before instantly turning black and going out. It was like the crescendo, a breath of life, and then the song ends and the fire is dead and it's instantly dark. And oddly, in that moment, you haven't felt more lonely.
The keeper has been given extra dice.
Oh, it's like your parents are inside, but this is the loneliness you've ever felt and the darkest you've ever felt, as something's just been snuffed out. And at that, I'll have you make another sanity check. Well, I'll have you make an int roll actually first. Okay.
Extreme success on the int check.
So make a sanity check. Oh, good.
Oh, good. I
Someone
failed. Oh,
has been
good.
granted bad luck.
Oh, and I get bad luck. Whatever that does.
Okay. Oh, man. Okay, well, the bad luck I usually don't have is like,
You lose your soul. Okay.
you're a gambler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite deck of playing cards?
Yes.
Okay. So to kind of add to this, when you were throwing stuff away and you were really upset, you did not realize that your favorite deck of playing cards, unless it's not your significant item, right?
It is not.
Okay. It fell into the barrel, and like as the stuff happened, like it was a very particular set because it had a very particular design on the back.
Yeah, it's a rare one of a kind. I won at a
Yeah.
poker tournament.
Yeah. And like when the snuff happens, one of those cards blows by and it's like burned in the back. And I'm gonna give you take 3 points of sanity loss.
All right. Well, where do I enter that? I want to go. Do I just have to
You'll
edit?
Yeah, you just have to lower your max.
What is the one surviving card?
It's a joker.
Man.
So it's because it's bad luck, it's not even like a normal playing card.
Just for Two-Face's origin story.
Yeah.
All right, let me edit that from deck of cards to Joker.
Yeah,
Well,
and it's a little bit burned.
my son's middle name is Harvey Dent, so you know.
Burnt
Ronnie
Joker.
Harvey Dent Wilcox.
There you go.
Here we go. All right. Updated the item. In that moment of loneliest moment in the world, Ronnie will pull up a chair because the fire's probably still. Oh, you said the fire went out, right? It just went poof.
Yeah, it went poof. It was like, I don't like if you've ever seen like a fire where like something ignites it, like either with like grease or like where it instantly incinerates,
Yeah.
and then the oxygen just instantly sucked out of
Yeah,
it.
something like out of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just. Are there even street lights in this time yet? Garage lights?
Um,
Or am I just sitting
not
in the complete dead dark?
there's some street lights, but they're kind of few and far between.
Okay. So I'll just kind of feel my way back into the house.
Yeah, you probably it's probably honestly you probably are able to see like more of the moon and stars.
Okay.
But yeah, you can feel your way back in the house,
Yeah.
and you probably left a house light on.
Yeah. And I guess most of we burned all the stuff, so like I'll probably just go sit down at the kitchen table by myself, as lonely can be, and I'll actually take out we talked about the treasured possessions.
Mm-hmm.
So Ronnie's treasured possession is a collection of unopened letters from his brother's USO tour. And he'll start to open them for the first time and actually read what they say.
Okay.
Until he falls asleep at the table.
The table.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. I think that's a great transition point into the next day. So, day passes, you all get sleep, but in Call of Cthulhu doesn't really mean anything other than you're not tired the next day.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. No like crazy nightmares or anything. Unless there's anything specific that somebody wants to do in the morning, I think I'm going to go ahead and skip to where everybody's meeting at the law office that Ingrid set up. Or
Okay.
not set up, but
I thought we were meeting at the house.
Yeah, at the house. They're all
And that the
meeting
law office people were going to meet us there.
there. I believe so as well. But maybe it changed.
yeah, I think maybe you guys are going to meet at David's house and then go over to the law office.
Okay.
So, or I might have misspoke last game.
Either way.
But the law office is closer than the house, regardless.
Okay.
Ingrid isn't there, but the secretary for the lawyer has been made aware of your appointment, and he's aware. So the attorneys that you're going to see are Palmer and Pickering. They're pretty well known in Arkham. They've been around a long time. They're fairly prestigious. They also have an office over in Boston as well. When you're in the interior, a lot of like their paintings there are not just, when you're normally in like a doctor's office, it's just like random flowers or like whatever, just kind of like the fake art. This is actual art, and a lot of it is of the local area during like the Revolutionary War period. So kind of a little bit showing a lot of patriotism. And it's not long that you guys are waiting before an elderly gentleman in his 60s. He's wearing a dapper suit. He has thick black glasses. He looks very put together, but not necessarily like very fashionable. He's more of like somebody that dresses and maintains their appearance for practicality rather than making a statement or being eccentric. And he opens the door to his office and says, "Ah, you are the family friends of Ingrid Swartz?
Yes.
Wonderful. Please come in. I think I should have enough chairs for everyone in our meeting room."
Thank you.
Elise will bring everybody coffee. Good for everybody, or would anybody like tea, water?
Coffee. Sweet as sin, black as night.
Got it. And the secretary takes down your guys' orders, whatever you want for drinks.
Sure.
So as you guys get situated, he kind of sits down and, he stays standing. So Ingrid's told me that while some of you are family friends, you've also done investigations in the city before.
We have.
Okay.
Some of them have, yeah. Yes.
Before we go much further, I just want to really emphasize that discreetness is a key here, as well as confidentiality. I was a little bit hesitant, to be honest, but Ingrid spoke very highly of all of you, and so I just hope that you would keep that in mind. We try to keep their family name out of the papers, as her father is a celebrity and gossip quickly tends to spread. And then we want to be sure that there's no further damages to the property and such. That being said, I believe Ingrid shared with you details about what we're trying to investigate as far as the murders. Otherwise, I can re-sum up what the police have told me. And then I did ask the groundskeeper for the house to come, and he is here to speak with you. He's the one that initially discovered the break-in and the bodies. But
I mean, yeah, if you could maybe give us a refresher. It's been a rough day.
yeah, of course. So about 3 days ago, while my client has been out traveling, there was a break-in at the house discovered by the groundskeeper. in that break-in, nothing was actually taken. However, 3 men were found dead in the home. The police did a quick investigation. I worked with them to keep it out of the papers, but they closed the investigation very quickly, and they've determined that the 3 men murdered each other because they were fighting over loot. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think there's more to the story, and I want to know if somebody hired these men to steal proprietary secrets from Memphis, the performer, as magician secrets are highly sought after. And then we also want to make sure that there's no further harm intended for either Memphis or his daughter, of course. Unfortunately, I don't have pictures of the crime scene, but I thought the firsthand witness, well, the person that found the bodies would be good for all of you to speak with. So I can send him in if you're ready, or if you have any other questions for me. Ingrid also asked me to give you a key to her father's home to be able to go there and investigate for yourselves.
I'll go ahead and pocket the key.
I just, again, I just asked for your confidentiality in these matters, just because he is a celebrity. There's a lot of times reporters trying to get a scoop from the inside or find something scandalous.
Ingrid is dear. Ingrid and her family are dear friends of our family. We would not want to do anything to besmirch them. We care about them.
Go ahead and make a, do you have a diplomacy? Or be
Charm.
thinking charm? Go ahead and make a charm.
I don't know if I have. Is there other social skills or?
It's probably charm.
Okay. Oh no.
Oh no. Well, so what you
Wah,
said.
wah, wah.
So I'll give you advantage on that because what you said was really good. So I'll give you a little bit of a loophole maybe out of it.
So I just roll again then?
Yeah, just roll again.
So
Okay.
you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
69, dude.
69.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
I'm like, I wanted to fumble you, but I'm like, I don't really know how, unless I'm just like, you didn't say what you said.
Yeah.
All you said was, come on, man. So Mr. Pickering seems a lot more reassured. And he says, good, well, I trust Ingrid's word. She's a very sensible young lady. And if she vouches for you and you're a good friend of the family, then I trust that we have this in the right hands. I will go in and send in Mr. Mason. And the next gentleman that you see come in, he's a little bit younger, probably late 50s. It looks like he pulled out like the one good suit that he had, like decent, like it's his church suit. But but you can tell from looking at him, he's like, he has calluses on his hands. Just because I have a cough, he has kind of a cough that he's getting over, and he has an old man handkerchief. And so he comes in with his old man cough and sits down, says, "Hi, nice to meet all of you today."
It's nice to meet you as well. Can you tell us what you saw when you walked into the house?
Yeah. Sorry, oh, it was horrible. I don't come every day. I usually come just a couple times a week just to mow the grass, weed, and check on the house, make sure there's nothing broken that needs to be fixed. But when I was walking the grounds that day, I noticed at the back of the house, I saw footprints and a broken window. And it prompted me to go inside. And I went into the house, into the back. I normally don't go to this section of the house. It has a bunch of Memphis's equipment that he's very secretive over. Oh, but I saw that the room was open and there was blood everywhere. One of the men, they hanged him, and he'd been there a while. His eyes were bulging from his head, his face blue. The second was pinned against the wall with, I think, 5 different swords stabbed into his body. And the last one, I don't know how to explain it, or his limbs were severed from his body in various pieces. He's missing his feet, his hands. I keep having nightmares about his hand. It was still twitching when I got there.
Just so I can clarify, Rachel,
Hmm?
his hands and feet, they were severed, but they weren't missing. Like nobody had cut them off and took them with them.
No, they were there.
Okay.
So, from the description, can I roll like my forensics to kind of estimate like the body that was hanged? Does it get to that state after 10 minutes or 2 days? And if the limbs are still twitching, that's a pretty immediate thing while the nervous system is still flashing. So, like the discrepancy in, I kind of want to figure out the discrepancy in the timeline for the deaths.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that. I would say anybody with a psychology roll could also roll it as well, or if you
Okay.
have both. Oh no.
Jesus Christ. This game
Wow, so many failures.
by 1.
You can spend luck.
Oh.
It's just 1.
It would
It's
be
ju-
just 1. What
It
would
would
I don't have enough luck to spend.
Where's my luck? Oh, I can spend 1 luck. That's not what I wanted to do. How do I change my luck?
You have
Yeah, I
to go
think
to
you have to
edit
go in and
mode.
actually edit the sheet.
Yeah, click the
Edit
edit
mode.
mode toggle.
Okay,
Okay. I will spend 1 luck to be a success.
sounds good. So I'll go with your roll first. Yeah, it doesn't make sense for what he's describing with somebody being hanged, and with somebody's nervous system still moving. So there's a discrepancy there. You kind of you would kind of lean towards, based on your experience, the description of a hanged person more than the hand twitching. Just because that seems more. If the hand was twitching, you would think that the murderer, whoever that is, well, even if it's all 3 of them, like it would have happened recently.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably maybe would have heard something outside. You're thinking maybe a day
Okay.
or so. You would probably have to honestly see it yourself, and like looking at this guy too, like just from his reaction, he hasn't really come across dead bodies, especially in like this sort of state before. Well, again, because you've worked in, the morgue before, you're kind of like a little bit immune to that shock. With the people, William and Ronnie especially, like he's still going through a state of shock
Mm.
right now.
Okay.
Ronnie, with your extreme success, the hand twitching comment is maybe probably not real. It's probably like he's probably suffering from, like, you've known people that have gone through the war too. Like sometimes you see things that are like so horrible and you kind of warp them a little bit. The hand twitching might just be like a reoccurring nightmare
Gotcha.
or something that he just kind of
Added in
makes
after
up in it.
fact.
So, because even when he's talking about it too, he seems pretty stunned.
I'll walk over and whisper that to Melissa, who's kind of doing some of the main questioning. Not enough to hear that guy, because I don't want him to feel like we're being like, well, you didn't actually see what you saw.
Right.
But I
Yeah,
will
because
just kind of whisper that to Melissa so that she realizes that a lot of people, he hasn't gotten over what he saw yet. It's still a tragedy. It's still a traumatic event for him.
Mhm.
So traumatic, in fact, that he might have
Someone has been granted bad luck.
been hallucinating things.
Who is that?
Thank you,
Ronnie.
Stephen, for giving that to Ronnie. My second
Poor
It
bad luck.
wasn't
Ronnie.
for bad luck.
The second bad luck for the day, and the second one for me.
Yeah. I'm like, oh. Um,
And I slip in the blood
So-
and fall right in.
Yeah, I guess
No.
he hears you
yeah.
He hears me. Oh no!
and he's
Yeah.
offended.
So I got that going. Which is
I was either gonna do that or gonna say, like, if you're trying to like stage whisper and you accidentally spit a little bit too much.
Both equally bad.
Yeah. But I think I will go
The
with he
keeper
kind
has
of.
been given extra dice.
You guys really want me? Okay, I will do is listen for him. He does catch you whispering to Melissa, and it catches his eyes because he's also a little bit I would say paranoid. Oh, he doesn't have a spot hidden or a listen. I'll do a spot hidden. Oh, well, he succeeded. So he does kind of catch like some of what you're saying. He's not like a very like aggressive person. So he doesn't say anything,
Okay.
but he definitely like gives you like the old man
But that'll come
disapproving
to, that might
look.
come to bite me in the ass later if I ask him questions
Yeah.
or if I see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at the lawyer, who I'm sure is still in the room.
Someone's
Yeah.
been given extra
And-
skill dice.
Ooh, Stanley with some extra skill dice.
Nice. I'll need that. My rolls have sucked the past 2
Is
games.
that just a reroll? I don't even remember what that does.
I think it just gives you advantage.
Okay.
It's the extra dice in the tens column.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Stanley will ask the lawyer, have these men been identified?
Not that I'm aware of. Mr. Mason was interviewed by the police. I can make a call down to the station to see if you would like to speak to the investigator there. They may even have crime scene photos.
Photos would be great if the bodies are still at the morgue. It would be good to take a look at them as well.
Mm-hmm.
See if the severing was done with what sort of implement.
I do know, I did talk to the police about keeping the implements, whatever was in the house, due to the proprietary nature of Mr. Memphis's possessions.
Did they take the murder weapons?
No, they are still in the house. They did their investigation in the house there. So, but if you don't have any other immediate questions for me, I can step out and have at least make that call to the station.
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
And so,
I think we should make sure that we're done questioning Mr.
Mason?
Mr. Mason.
course.
Mr. Mason, did they have a vehicle that they brought there, or did they arrive at the mansion or the house completely on foot?
and he kind of takes out his handkerchief and just goes ahead and blows his nose because he doesn't feel as formal or needs to be as polite now. But he says that there wasn't any additional tire tracks up the driveway, but I did see footprints at the back of the house, and the back of the house goes to an empty lot into the woods. So my guess is that they approached on foot. I don't know. If you want to know my suspicion on what happened is I know the police said there's 3 guys. Well, and they thought maybe I had something to do with it in the beginning. But I couldn't even stay in the room that long. I could never do anything like that. But I do think there was a 4th person.
Oh.
Yeah, I know that they said they killed each other, but I don't think that makes sense.
Do you know how many tracks you saw?
I'll be honest, I didn't really pay attention. I mean, at least 3.
Now, when you're looking at this, could you close your eyes and try to picture where you saw those tracks, and it would help to really focus in. And I want to try to use like psychology to help him remember better.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
Extreme success.
So
Nice.
you walk him through it and you kind of like get him to really focus. And he has like a long clarity point where he actually doesn't cough a lot. And he really thinks about it. And he's 100% certain that he saw 3 sets of footprints,
Okay.
No more, no less.
more or less. And he'll say, it hasn't rained. Well, actually, no, it did rain yesterday. But there is tree coverage. The footprints still might be there.
Did they like walk through the house on the way through, or did they break directly into the?
They broke through the window.
Okay, so they broke through directly into the room
Mm-hmm.
they were killed in. Okay. Was there like mud tracks or anything in that room?
Probably some. There was just a lot of blood.
Mr. Madison, being familiar with the grounds, you're probably also familiar with the surrounding area. Is there anywhere that they could have walked from to this place? Any roads nearby that they could have walked through the woods? Any buildings, any places?
Well, most of it's kind of up on a hill, and when you're in the house, you can see like the city of Arkham. So when they came from the back, like he likes his privacy, so it's a heavily wooded area. I'm sure there's probably like a shed or something or a hunting shack back there. And then there is a road, and he'll name like the cross section of the roads back there, but nothing that really like stands out. He doesn't have a lot of neighbors. The neighbors are pretty far. I don't know if the police checked if maybe there's like a tent or I don't know. The police haven't talked to me since they interviewed me, but I didn't see any signs of a vehicle. But
Out
you
of
could,
character, how long ago were they killed or found?
they were found 3 days ago.
I don't know if the tracks would have survived that long.
Might be tracks through the blood in the house, though. So as long as the police haven't, like, cleaned up the blood in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, match the shoe tracks with the blood to the shoes that the burglars were wearing. See if we can find, or there's a extra set of tracks.
Oh, I think you're muted.
Sorry. Then if they don't match, then we know there's another person involved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys go about doing that? Do you guys just get a camera and take pictures, or?
I've got a camera.
I mean, should we go to the police station first and see the photo so we can get an idea of where the bodies were and maybe even see if we can
You guys have friends at the
look
police
at their
station?
notes?
Or can the lawyers just get us that?
The Mr. Perkins will speak up and say, I can reach out to the investigator and let him know that you're on your way.
Great.
Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions for me or Mr. Mason?
Is there any place in the house that we could maybe find if any of the secrets have been taken? Like, where do you know where we could start?
I do not know where he keeps his secrets per se. I do know his house is unique for the fact that well, he crafts most of his costumes and props in the house.
Okay.
So I would assume there's some sort of workshop. And there's a storage area where I'm guessing the murders happened. There is what I just know because I've been there that he used to do mini performances for his friends at his home because his home he converted sections of his house to have a mini theater. So there's a 2-gallery theater in his home because Mr. Memphis would practice a lot of his tricks in this theater. It's very unique. There's a full mirror along one end of the wall where he can, I'm assuming, check angles. I don't know, do magician stuff. But yeah, I missed those parties. They were pretty fun. Him and Harold used to do little performances.
I will lean over to my dad, who's Harold? And whisper to my dad, who's Harold?
Oh, Harold was Memphis's protege, and at one point, although they had kind of a falling out.
And isn't Ingrid betrothed
I
to
was gonna
him?
say, oh, is that the one that
Yes.
Ingrid's with? Oh,
Correct.
yeah, I don't like him. They grew up together. Of course he didn't.
What was the room that they were found in, Mr. Madison? Was it like a storage room, a sunroom, a workshop?
It was a storage room of some kind. It had a bunch of, like I said, I've never been in that room before. It was one of the off-limits rooms for me and the housekeeper.
Is it no longer off limits?
Well, the door was open. So and there's the blood. I mean, he kind of like gives you like a little shifty, or not shifty, but little like suspicious look. I'm very respectful of Mr. Memphis when he's gone on his trip. So normally I would not go in there, but that was the room where the window led into, was that storage room. And I believe that's where he has all of his magic doohickeys.
Magicians do need to protect their secrets.
And is that the reason why he kept that room off limits to you?
Yes. That room was off limits, and then parts of the upstairs were as well. Which, I mean, upstairs is bedrooms and stuff. I only really went in there if there was a plumbing issue.
The upstairs is off limits, and their room with all their secrets.
Parts of the upstairs.
Yeah.
Is it just the bedrooms, or
Bedrooms, and then, attics, stuff like that. I haven't really snooped around. but it's a very nice house. But yeah, I only go where if I, need to fix something.
That makes sense.
Is there a skill to know if somebody's lying
It'd be psychology.
or withholding information? Okay.
I was just gonna ask that.
Can I roll that to see if like any
Yeah.
like if they're being fully truthful or if they're like leaving out details or giving us a line of bullshit? That explains why my psychology is fairly high.
Yep. Oh, right. Okay. Well, with extreme success, he doesn't like you.
Yeah, I realize that.
So he's being a little bit short with you because you kind of rubbed him the wrong way. And he's like, yeah, okay, young whippersnapper, like wearing a newer suit than me or, whatever.
Yeah.
But he is being honest.
Okay.
He's one of those people that's like, he's not a town gossip. He's very much, he comes in, does his job. He's probably paid well to keep his, just focus on his job and not poke his nose into anything. So he's more concerned about keeping his job, and then is also shaken up about the event.
Since we have you here, Mr. Mason, do you recall the last time you saw Memphis?
Oh, it's been a while. He likes to go on trips, but it's weird. He normally lets Rosie, the housekeeper, know by like with a note. But when I talked to her last, she said that she didn't get anything from him. But geez, probably been close to 2 months now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's probably overseas somewhere. He went to like, I don't, like some country in Asia, like Himalayas, Bhutan or something.
Yeah, we heard that he'd gone to the Himalayas. Has has Josephine come back to the house since the murders?
I haven't seen her since I was last there. She has come to the house off and on in the past 2 months though.
Okay.
She likes to be in the theater room.
Practicing her craft.
Yeah. She's, I don't know. I shouldn't.
Do you know anybody else other than staff that has been coming to the house frequently in the months leading up to you finding these bodies?
Josephine and Ingrid. I don't know if Harold's been there. I would assume that he would go with Ingrid, but he hasn't been there in a while. But I just stay clear of Josephine.
Understandable.
Anybody else have any other questions for Mr. Madison?
I don't know.
I have a rebuttal because my brain's not all functioning and I might have missed it. Did we get told if we had access to the room where the event occurred?
Yeah, just for clarification, like you have key to the house. Okay. So you have free reign to investigate the house. He just like basically if you find whatever you find, you come to him first with it. don't go to the media.
Well, yeah, we
Basically-
weren't going to go to the media for anything, right? That's the kind of the plan.
Yeah, but just as lawyer
Come
talk, like,
To the lawyer, right? Okay.
yeah, of like verbal NDA, basically. But yeah, nothing
Do
is
we do we expect any workers to be doing work today? Or anybody
No.
coming to the house today, or any other visitors, or any other people coming besides who's here now? You know, if somebody shows up, we'll know they don't actually belong here.
Yeah, Rosie just kind of stops. Who's she does like housekeeping and makes some meals.
Mm-hmm.
Mason will say, and she kind of she doesn't have a regular schedule. She just kind of pops in.
Okay.
Usually like once a week. Most of the time, mostly it's when he's gone. She's there to like go through and make sure to throw out whatever food is going to spoil. And then to see if he's back yet to do like a grocery run.
I just want to be covered if we get here and somebody else is here and we're like, who are you? And they say, oh, well, so and so sent us, or I come here regularly. That way we know that they're full of shit.
So she kind of just pops in and out because she's usually not there for very long.
Could you call her and tell her to not show up for the next couple of days?
Yeah, I can get in touch with her. That'll work. But yeah, no others. I mean,
Because if whatever they were looking for, they didn't find, and they were sent by somebody, and they still
Right.
want to keep looking, now is the perfect time because nobody's in the house, not knowing we're going to be here.
I get Mr. Mason will say that Josephine will kind of come and go as she pleases.
Well,
And
family makes sense.
so as his assistant. So that she might be the other person that you would Josephine and Ingrid, but
Like, I doubt the two of them didn't already have access to everything. So they
Right.
wouldn't be coming here to take something.
yep. Okay. Well, if there's no other questions,
I think we go to the police station next.
so on your way out,
Do we want to go to the police station, or we're already here? Do we want to get pictures of the room and stuff? Look for footprints, other clues before we go to the police station?
well,
We're at the law office.
Oh, right. Never mind.
either way,
But I was thinking we could
Yeah.
go from the law office, police station, then
Yep. You're right.
house.
yeah. So the Mr. Pickering will just let you guys know that he'll have his secretary phone ahead to the police station to let them know that you're coming.
Okay.
The inspector that he spoke to, making sure I have the right name. Yep, is Mr. Joe Edwards. He's not someone that you've spoken with before. But you go ahead and make your way to the police station, and well, not everybody, but Betsy and William, well, and Ronnie have been here before. So some of the cops, you know, kind of regard some of you. Some of them kind of, it's a little bit of mixed reactions. Like the ones that were with you during the last investigation. Some of them nod or kind of are more somber. The one guy that was kind of in cahoots with the Irish mob, You don't see him around. And you go to the front desk, and I think I have a pop out of, and let him know that you're here to see Mr. Edwards. And a few minutes later, a man approaches, and I'm gonna see if I can do the pop-up. Oh, here we go, art. So you can see this cranky guy.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely looks cranky.
Yeah.
He's not happy. He's not happy.
The art in this book for different characters is pretty funny.
It's fantastic.
Especially like Josephine, where like everybody was like, why is she missing an eye? And
Right.
it's like, it's not.
Why is he so angry?
Yeah. That's just kind of like his natural face.
Resting rage face?
Yeah.
It's like that iconic face. There's like a couple actors in movies that like you see him in all the movies, and they're like this iconic actor that always plays the same angry cop role.
Yeah, that's pretty much him. Generic cop that's angry all the time.
Yep.
So the front desk or the police station front office officer, desk sergeant, gets Mr. Edwards or Inspector Edwards, and he comes up and he already has a file folder in his hand, and he's like, oh wow, I didn't realize there's going to be a group of you. Why don't you come in back and we'll kind of knock this out. I got a call from Mr. Pickering and he updated me on everything.
Yeah, thank you for meeting with us.
Yeah. Kind of an odd case here. And he'll lead you back into, it's actually, he just leads you to an interrogation room, even though he's not going to use it for interrogation, but it's just big enough for everybody to fit in and to have like a private conversation. So he said, so, Mr. Pickering told me that you're doing a private investigation secondary with his law offices into the murders at the Memphis house.
Yes, we
Yes.
are.
Well, he gave me approval to go through the stuff and with you, and the case is closed on our end, but here's the file folder I have with the pictures of the bodies. I will warn you, it is a bit gruesome to look at, so just, be warned. But were there any specific questions you want to ask me about it? We did find the bodies on the first floor in what I guess is called the prop room.
Right.
This seemed to be a bunch of stage props, and he'll open up the folder and he won't show the bodies right away first, but he'll pull out the different pictures of the murder weapons.
Okay.
And you see, like, first one is a coiled rope with a tag on it. The second one is a series of blades, so swords. And then the third one is it's kind of hard to describe, but it's like a mini guillotine. And it's technically it's called a wrist chopper. So William and Betsy has probably seen one before. It's basically I'll just give this to you because it's something in the magic world, but basically it's a trick where it's somebody puts their wrist in and then there's a hidden blade or there's not a hidden blade, but like you chop a vegetable first to be like, oh,
Right.
the blade is sharp. And then when you put your wrist in, there's a hidden slide compartment where like the blade sinks into and it doesn't actually chop your wrist. So it looks like, oh no, your wrist is going to get chopped, but it's, you know, just a secret compartment.
Sure.
But this one actually did chop pieces of this person's limbs.
Were the bodies ever identified?
They were. They're known as the Leary brothers. So they're all three siblings.
Okay.
Not much is known about them specifically. They're pretty they're not high priority for the police department. They don't really have, they have some petty crimes. If, and he kind of like leans forward. You didn't hear this from me, but they are rumored to be in connection with a man named Orson Vaughn.
With whom?
Orson Vaughn. He's so in the city, there's kind of an understanding with some of the speakeasies in town where we know that they're operating there and we continue to let them do business because they provide information on criminal activity. And Orson Vaughn is one of the individuals that I have a working relationship with from time to time. And we've heard of the Leary brothers through him. The speakeasy that he runs is called The Clamp.
The Clamp?
The Clamp. You might be able to get more information if you go there. I would just say be prepared to spend money and drink terrible booze. And if you give him my name, he should give you information. But just be respectful, understand that it's not, well, be not necessarily respectful, but just understand that there are criminals there. And if it's a situation where you need police backup, let me know. And we go there. But usually if you go there, he is a civil person to talk to. If you mind your P's and Q's.
Is it the same house that I've been at? Or is it a different one? Okay, it is. And that what's her face works at?
Well, she doesn't. Yeah, she
at?
doesn't. Yeah, she's been seen at. That was the place where she like, you saw her shank someone.
Right.
So for spilling their drink on her. So
okay.
Yeah. So it's that kind of like, it's not, from what you know of it, it's not an upscale speakeasy. It's very much like grimy, and like the alcohol is not good. and it's overpriced. But it's definitely, even though it's kind of grimy there, and I don't know, there are fights and stuff, it's not like the worst speakeasy in town as far as like being safe wise. They're kind of like everybody kind of knows each other type thing, and they kind of watch out for each other rather than calling the cops. Where the Irish mob is a little bit more dangerous.
That was
And that's
Ingrid,
when
right?
we went to.
That was one you just dealt with.
Okay.
And that was Ingrid, the former partner that I saw there, right? Not Josephine.
No, it was Josephine.
It was Josephine, not Ingrid. Okay.
It was Josephine that you saw there, and you saw shank someone.
Right. Okay.
Cause, yeah. So, yeah, you know Josephine, she's packing.
All right.
Why don't you guys go ahead and roll a psychology roll?
I have a bonus die I can use.
Finally failed the psychology roll.
Let's see.
What is this?
It's not rolling. Hold on. Oh, I'm on edit mode still. Psychology. Got it.
What is? I don't know what this 5 is.
Oh, that's
Is-
weird.
It's a bonus penalty.
Oh, I think you did a penalty die instead of a bonus die. Oh, weird, but it says bonus penalty.
It has a minus to it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't see a minus.
That's
I just see a regular.
bizarre.
If you hover over it, it
Yeah,
says
there's
minus.
a minus.
Die 10
Just-
minus 1.
Just roll the
just-
psychology again, yeah.
Oh, my
Hey!
first checkpoint of this storyline.
Woohoo!
Whoa!
Here, let's make you re-roll that. Just kidding.
So those of
Okay.
you that got, I don't know, there's not a whole lot more I can give you on an extreme success, but you do know that he isn't sharing, that he either knows or suspects more than what he's saying about the case. Like, he gives you the lowdown of like what they closed the case as was that they got into an argument and they ended up killing each other. And these were the different murder weapons that were used. They haven't determined the order. Like, it's just arbitrary that they're like probably the guy.
Well, it's preposterous for one. I mean, hang yourself, sure, they could do that. Pin yourself to the wall, somebody else would have to do that. Put your arms on a wrist chopper and chop your wrists off, that's a 2-person thing.
Right.
Plus the feet.
Yeah.
If we wanted to examine the bodies, are they still available in the morgue?
Yeah, they are still available. You can examine them. You may have to make an appointment though.
I mean, we know the guy in charge.
Okay, yeah, then yeah, I'd say go for it.
The result of your investigation was that they all just killed each other, right?
Yes.
How did the last person time that just so perfectly?
Yeah, we weren't able to completely lock that down. It seems very odd. It's a very odd way of them passing. Go ahead and give me a fast talk or a persuade or charm.
Oh!
You
You
want
have
to spend
luck.
luck?
I'll spend a point of luck.
Okay.
Where's my luck? There it is. Spend a point of luck to succeed.
I would have laughed if somebody would have given you bad luck, and it's like, wow, you're just pissing everybody off here. He says that, and like, he kind of gives you all like a knowing look and you a knowing look, and he's like, look, the owner of the house is a celebrity. The department wanted to shut down the case as soon as possible
Right.
and not get any more media attention.
Right.
And it was, be honest, don't tell Orson I said this, but it's criminals that passed away.
Right.
So it's a lower priority, unfortunately.
But you guys are pretty sure that all of that aside, there was probably someone else involved.
Potentially, the only issue is we didn't see any tracks or any evidence of another person.
Do you think it could have amounted to traps in the house?
Maybe. I don't know that much about magician stuff. So
I can help. I mean, I can help steer you in the right direction for that as far as what
well,
would be considered important and what could be ignored.
that would be helpful.
I
mean,
mean,
it
back
helped.
in the day, I even worked with Memphis, at least in his early days.
Oh, really?
Suffice it to say, the magic shop is a a popular enough or well enough known place among magicians. They're a small community.
Yeah, makes sense. Cops, and oddly enough, sometimes cops and criminals are the same way. Yeah, if you can give me any notes that you have that would make logical sense of this. Either way, there's definitely more to the story. They couldn't have killed each other, especially in their wounded state.
Wounded.
And, well, I mean, the fact of, like, the one guy
Also,
didn't have any feet.
They didn't have any other wounds, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, maybe there was a fourth person that was smart enough to cover up their tracks and left the scene. Or there's traps of some kind, like you said. But something more happened. But yeah, we just wanted to avoid embarrassment and press. And then, of course, it improves the department's the statistics of the department as well. I don't know. Maybe there was even a payoff, but didn't hear that from me.
Yeah, we didn't hear any of this from you.
But I will warn you, if you go talk to Orson and these were his guys, he will probably want more answers too.
Okay.
I haven't gotten a chance to pass along my leads to him. So that can be your in if you do talk to him.
Fair enough.
He kind of like pauses with the folder and be like, I'll let you guys borrow this.
Great. Thank
and
you.
then you give me back.
Of course.
Luckily the case is closed anyhow, so it's not. Make sure
Right.
to get it back to you.
Yeah, research
I'll take
purpose.
it and I'll start looking for shit that looks bogus. Besides the fact that we already know stuff is bogus, but like, what did they put in there that's bogus? Actually, I'll just ask them, like, what did they put in here to say that, this is the thing so that we know what we're looking at as far as excuses that were excuses?
Basically, it's just the same story that the three killed each other.
Okay.
And like, they put it in some arbitrary order. Like probably the wrist chopper was first,
Gotcha.
and the guy that got stabbed, and the guy that hung himself.
Yeah, just so we can rule
Maybe.
out any bullshit that's in there that they put in there. That way we
Yeah.
can deal with just the facts.
Yeah. It's very light.
I suppose it's the 20s. They don't need details. Yeah, this is what they did. That's what we said.
Yeah.
End of story.
And he will confirm that the weapons and the evidence are still in the house as well.
In the files, do they show the pictures of the boots
They do.
or shoes? Okay. Do they all still have their belongings down at the morgue as well?
Yep, they do. And there wasn't anything. I mean, it's typical like B&E stuff. Nothing with any notes about like who hired them to do this, who got the idea for it, what they were looking for. Nothing like that. Seemed really random. So, but yeah, any other questions?
I can't think of any.
Okay.
Thank you, Detective Edwards. I say this, I get up. So do we want to go to the house or the clamp? I
Or the
think
morgue?
aren't this well, we need an appointment for that.
I mean, they said that they know the guy, so.
What guy?
You know the mortuary guy, or the coroner. We've talked to him before. Well, some of us have.
Who?
I think Melissa and Chris.
Yeah, I guess maybe it was just us.
And Father Stephen. He's not
And
here.
yeah.
Where
Dr.
was that?
John.
Dr. John was a worker of the university. He wasn't the county coroner.
Yeah, Dr. John was there when everybody went to the morgue, and
Right.
animated corpses came up. But
Oh no, there was another Dr. John, wasn't there? Dr. John Wheatley from the Miskatonic. He wasn't the coroner though. He was
No, but
he just worked there.
Yeah, but he also knew, I think.
Meet
Is
the coroner?
is there a chance that Betsy would know the coroner from her time working at the hospital?
That's a good
Ooh.
point.
Like a luck roll or something?
Sure, make a luck roll.
Nope. Okay.
We're just rolling all greats today.
You knew like he's a replacement.
I knew his predecessor.
Yeah. Which is funny because I think the coroner is also pretty old, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you guys can stop at the coroner's office. And see about making an appointment or roll a luck roll to see if you can just sneak on in there.
No thanks. Not for me anyways. If you guys want to sneak in, you can.
Last time I snuck in there, it didn't go well. So
Well,
an appointment would be preferred.
I mean, I guess sneak in an appointment.
Borrow the police station phone to call the coroner's office and say, I would like an appointment.
Can I come today or tomorrow?
What time is it?
It's probably like 11 o'clock. So you could roll. I would allow either Chris or Melissa to roll a luck roll to see if you can get in to do an autopsy today.
I'll try a luck roll.
Okay.
Hey,
Hey,
6.
you know what? So the coroner, which I don't remember his name, doesn't matter, Mr. Man, was like, yeah, I was actually just gonna take my lunch break in a little bit. So if you guys just want to pop on over here, I have some extra sandwiches. We can eat sandwiches. You can do your autopsy, catch up.
Sounds great.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
What time are the speakeasies open? Do they open at night?
Open
Or
24/7.
Yeah. Some of them would probably be 24/7.
I mean, you always want to drink.
Well,
I don't
yeah.
anticipate being much use in an autopsy, so if we wanted to split up and cover things more quickly, I could volunteer going to speak with Orson Vaughn.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you figured they'd probably open around noonish. Because some people, like, speakeasies don't have great food. Otherwise, I mean, the other option too, not that Stanley necessarily wants to do that, but there is the library. If you want to do more research on Memphis too, and because it's called Cthulhu, so there's always a library option.
If anything, I think I could help best with that, being what I know of Memphis.
Hmm.
Admittedly, the morgue is not really my bailiwick.
Well, I also know my way around a library somewhat as well.
Well, it depends on how much you guys want to split the party.
I would suggest we when we get to the point where we want to take a look at the house, we should probably regroup there, maybe.
I
Mhm.
agree, William. But I think I should help out Chris and Melissa with the autopsy. My medical training should come in handy.
Okay. So we have the ladies going to the autopsy,
Yep.
and then William's going to the library for sure. Stanley and Ronnie, or yeah, I said William to the library. Stanley,
Mhm.
did you want to go to talk to the speakeasy or go to the library or do something completely different?
Are you deferring to me, Ronnie?
Yeah, I was waiting to see what you were going to say. Because what you say is dependent on what Ronnie says. Or does. Because like right now, he's just, we're going to the morgue, and that's where he's going. But if you're like, going to go do something else, then he's probably going to change what he's going to do.
Well, regardless, we're splitting up because William is going to the library.
Yeah, but as far as Ronnie's concerned, his dad can go to the library. There's nothing there. It's just a library.
Yeah, I don't even know what I would look up at the library, so I think I'm gonna go to the clamp.
Okay.
Right. Then Ronnie will be like, well, you probably shouldn't go there alone, and I've been there a handful of times, so I'll go with you.
Okay.
I can get you in. They know me.
Right.
And then I do this short glance to his parents to see their reaction. And then just like pretend like nothing happened and continue on.
Oh, the coroner, John Wheatcroft, was the coroner of Boston. Former coroner of Boston.
Okay. Was he like?
He was the boss.
Was he like a heavy set dude?
Yeah.
Older?
Mm-hmm.
That's
with
what I remember.
with a diabetes mustache.
Yeah. So
walrus mustache.
He very much was the diabetes guy.
Diabetes. Yeah, so I'm just gonna I think we'll start with the autopsy first. Then we'll go to probably library. And then the last group will be the clamp. that works out for everybody. But
Yeah.
so when the three of you get to the coroner's office, you see Dr. John there. And the extra lunch he brought was egg salad sandwiches, just because I think that's kind of the grossest thing to have while looking over a dead body.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That or like tuna fish or something.
Egg salad, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the smell and the
Yeah.
texture.
Definitely gonna be the smell that gets you.
He's like, Melissa, Chris,
Hi.
nice to see you again.
Hello.
Yes, good to see you.
Yeah, this was an odd one. And
Do you know Mrs. Wilcox?
I don't think we've had the pleasure of meeting before.
Oh, I worked with your predecessor. It's so nice to finally meet you.
Oh, yeah, good to meet you too. Welcome. Hope you came hungry.
I did.
Yeah. You see, he has like one of the medical tables kind of like actually laid out nice with like a white tablecloth or, just a little white cloth and like little plates and cut up sandwiches. So,
Take a seat.
yep. Yeah, so you wanted to look at the three robbers.
Yeah, what can you tell us about them?
Well, definitely not any way I'd want to go for sure. Ugh. Grizzly, that poor. I just can't believe how they figured out how to off each other all at once. This doesn't really seem believable, but yeah, they all died relatively within short order of each other.
Okay.
Although the one that got his hands and feet and the other parts of his body chopped off took a little bit for the blood loss. So yeah, even though he was probably the first person to start going, he was probably the last to die. Estimate within 30 minutes or so. Although, yeah, I can't, I'll have to get your guys' expert opinion because I don't know if he actually died of blood loss. He might have died of a heart attack. Which, considering what's been done to you with the fear and the panic and everything, makes sense.
Yeah. I guess we should probably eat first before we start looking at their bodies.
Yeah, that's what I always say.
'Cause there's hand sanitizer isn't a thing yet, and there's not enough of it.
Nope.
Yeah, less washing up if we do it this way.
Yeah, a little less messy. It doesn't contaminate the bodies at all. Like, I got written up once my first week for dropping a little bit of egg salad in a corpse. And won't do that
Problem
one.
is getting caught.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
daintiest bites off this sandwich that's coming on a plate that's on a cloth that's on a cadaver table.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I have tea too. Or lemonade. It has to be sugar-free, though.
The tea. Do you have a strong black tea?
Yeah. As much as he's like a connoisseur of sandwiches, like the tea is just kind of meh.
That's fine.
Yeah. So, but you guys visit and catch up, and then he shows you after you eat, wash up. He shows you the bodies. And if you guys want to go ahead and make either forensics rolls, or if you have another medical,
I have first aid and I have medicine.
probably medicine would be more applicable.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna attempt my medicine because I want to
Oh,
get points in it. Damn.
You could spend
Well-
7 luck to make it.
You know what? Sure.
it's pretty close.
I'll spend 7 luck. I will make it.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Uh,
That one will be easy to level up.
Yeah.
so as you guys are investigating, with the guy that was with the chopper,
Mm-hmm.
you do, with between the three of you, you do figure out that he actually did die of a heart attack. The blood loss was obviously a contributor to it. But probably a heart attack either induced from extreme fear or stress.
Did he die of a heart attack before the limbs were severed?
No, after.
Okay.
You do also see that they all relatively had the same time of death. Like, time of death isn't really exact, but they all died within the same hour. So probably even, I mean, with the extreme and hard success, probably within the same like 30 minutes. If you'd have to guess, probably the person that was pinned against the wall was the first to die, and then the man that was hung, and then the chopper person. They all it would make sense that they were brothers. Their ages are all within 6 years of each other. The youngest being 18, and then the oldest being 26. So they're all relatively young, otherwise healthy young men. You do see that they have, like, from previous scuffles, like marks on them showing that, like you see one that has like a gunshot wound that's been healed. One that has, like, old stab marks. So you can see that they've kind of had a little bit of a life of crime, a little bit of that, or at least been in a few fights.
Are there any other like weird marks on the body? Thinking back to the last time we did anything, there's those black marks, or like if you look at the brain, any of them look weird as compared to what I know of a normal brain? Like, is there damage? If there's damage on one, is there damage on all of them? That sort of stuff.
You do. The other two, so the man that was hung and the man that was impaled, and you do see like the 5 different sword wounds, like the injuries that were made to them were like, probably not using the right words, but it was something that was done to them.
Okay.
So it was an external cause. And so, like, the person that hung themselves, that's a little bit kind of harder to tell, but from like what you've seen of the crime scene photo and, everything. That's what your professional opinion concludes to. But the one with the chopper, when you look at the brain,
Mm-hmm.
it does seem misshapen. But it's not anything you've really like seen before. It seems like it had expanded and then swollen a little bit. And yeah, what did I say? Expanded and then shrunk is what I meant to say a little bit. The Dr. John put it down there just as an anomaly, but to
Okay.
you that's kind of a flag because
Run
it's
into,
thought
yeah, we run into too many anomalies.
right. The other weird thing is that there doesn't seem to be, so like if somebody was like forcing your hand into like a wrist chopper, you would anticipate there being bruising
Mm-hmm.
from somebody like pushing your hand in there. There's no signs of that. There's like, if you look at the pieces that were cut, there's scrapes where you see like from the blade, but no like human fingerprints or human, like, you know, if there's like somebody gets strangulation, there's the imprint of the hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody bruises your wrist from like restraining you, there's a bruise there. None of that is visible from a hand. Like there's other markings from the blade, but it doesn't look like somebody physically forced this person to stick their hand in.
Are there any
Now,
Or like,
defensive wounds?
pardon?
Are there any defensive wounds on the people, like they were trying to fight off their attacker, especially for guy 1 and guy 2, the one that was hung and the one that was impaled by the 5 swords that looked like they tried to fight off their attackers?
There is not,
Okay.
which is also something else that's odd. Like at the most, the guy that was hung, like there are rope burns on his hand. So you would anticipate like that would be him like pulling at the rope or pulling at, you know, the rope at his neck, trying to get air, probably. And there's like rope burns on his fingertips. The guy with the sword, that seems to be of like kind of like the quickest death of them all. And so you don't know if he doesn't have any defensive wounds. Maybe he didn't even have a chance to react.
was he stabbed in the front or the back?
He was stabbed in the front. And I don't know if I mentioned this when I was when you were talking to the inspector, but the inspector did say that they had a hard time pulling the swords out of the wall. Like they were
deeply embedded in the wall?
yes.
And they didn't think that was weird.
Again, like timing wise, it's kind of hard to tell. But the stab wounds from the swords, like it wasn't like somebody like slowly antagonized this guy. It was like a rapid impaling, or it seemed in succession. Which again, it's 5 different swords. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And even the guy that got his limbs in the chopper. Well, he doesn't have markings. There are, you could maybe consider like some of the scrapes from the blade defensive wounds where there was possibly like resistance, but it's kind of hard to tell. Because
So-
there's parts where like this, the skin is scraped a little bit. That's kind of the only thing that you really see for like defensive wounds on him, maybe.
Yeah, this is a really morbid question. For the rope guy, does it see like it was quicker or not? Like, was he hoisted and strangled, or was his neck broke? Like,
Hoisted, yeah, hoisted and strangled.
Okay.
That's unfortunate.
So the slow way.
Yeah.
Like, I know too much about medieval torture. Huh.
That's what comes of reading fantasy.
It's also the
That'd be why his eyes are
it's
popped
also
out.
the 20s, 30s era, so I mean, probably know a bit more than
It honestly, for how quick the first guy died, it honestly, you're not sure if like the slow death from the hanging is actually like due to torture. It could be just somebody not knowing what they're doing too. Because like kind of thinking about it with medieval executioners or people, well, I guess it depends on how much you know your history, but like people that are good executioners, like they know like how to make a death like quick and stuff. And that's why there were some that were paid better than others or whatever
Why
for
some
that.
people didn't die.
Yeah.
They hung there alive, and if they were alive long enough, they were let go.
Yeah. So, yeah, so it could be for somebody that's a sadist or somebody that, it just is using the rope as an improvised weapon in that instance.
Okay.
And then, yeah, if you go through the effects of the people, nothing really outstanding. They didn't carry any actual personal effects with them. For the robbery, and you're guessing because in case something fell out of their pocket, they didn't want to leave it behind as evidence. And normal, like, breaking and entering type of gear.
And no car keys.
No car keys.
I can't think of any other questions.
Neither can I.
Okay. Well, we'll kind of leave you guys in that scene for a little bit just in case you come up with any other questions. And then we can head over to William in the library. So I guess I should have asked you this first, but do you have a library use role?
Yes.
A. So you go to the library, you know the librarian, you and her kind of chit chat a little bit.
Yeah, I think where I'm going to try to focus on, because, you know, I've dealt with Memphis prior to him kind of going sort of astray, so to speak, but trying to see if maybe I can pull up a bit more information on like Bhutan or and his journeys there, since that seemed to be a very changing moment for him.
Yeah.
So kind of focusing in that direction, I guess.
Sure. Since you're the only person, I'll say the librarian is helping you, so go ahead and roll twice.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, you got it. So go ahead and mark a checkbox.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
And then so you're in the library and the librarian's helping you, and she's like, she gives you or points you in the direction of some newspaper archives.
Sure.
And they kind of give you
Raid! Welcome on in, Raiders. How are you doing? That's Joker coming in with a raid. How was your stream? How are things? Welcome in. Get a little shouty outy for Death Joker. Death Joker, one of our premier buddies over there, doing some Call of Duty Black Ops that just came out. Welcome on in. You guys don't know Death Joker. Here's a little clip of him. Does all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, Dead by Daylight, World of Warcraft.
You should have given me the lunchbox, you bitch!
That's right. The lunchbox.
Oh.
What the fuck I want?
And whatever this game is.
Whatever
This,
the
is,
fuck
this
he
isn't Call, it
wants.
doesn't look like Call of Duty. Welcome on in, Raiders. Hopefully you're having a good time. We're doing some tabletop role-playing. This is a horror RPG. Call of Cthulhu is the name of the game. And we are all playing different characters. And it's a 1930s, right? 1930s is the right era, correct?
1920s.
1920s, 20s era, kind of horror, noir sort of RPG game. So welcome on in, Raiders. Welcome in. Thank you again, Death Joker, for the raid. We loves you. Take care of yourself. Go in and get yourself some self-care if you need it. You've probably, if I know you, you've been going all day long. And I know you just got over a big uncapped subathon. So thank you so much for the raid. Have a good one. If you have to go take care of yourself, you have to go pee, and we'll let the library research continue.
All right. So, yeah, the librarian points you in the direction of some newspaper articles, and you come across 3 articles in particular that catch your eye.
Okay.
I think I shared out handout Memphis 1, 2, and 3 with everybody.
Correct.
And just because I am hacking, if I could get somebody to volunteer to read it for the audience.
Sure. So starting with handout 1. May 12th, 1919, Boston magician Memphis the Great, famous for his elaborate stage illusions, has disappeared for real this time. Visiting the kingdom of Bhutan, he reportedly embarked on an expedition into the Himalayan mountains, but has not returned. His party is 5 days overdue, and he has missed his scheduled performance for King Ugyen Wangchuck, and I'm probably butchering that. I apologize. Bhutan is located on the border between India and China. The king united the country following several civil wars. Bleh, I cannot speak today, and rebellions in 1882 to 1885, and was an instrumental figure in obtaining the Anglo-Tibetan Convention of 1904.
And because I positioned this adventure the Arkham, so just if there's Boston, it's Arkham.
Oh, fair enough. The next one is May 15th of 1919. Memphis the Great, reported lost in Bhutan, has been located alive and well. The renowned Boston conjurer and his assistant, Miss Josephine Lynch, they were found by the king's men as they returned from the foothills of the Himalayas. Memphis and Miss Lynch had been menaced by brigands and were forced to flee into parts unknown. They were exhausted and hungry, but otherwise unharmed. The king vowed that the bandits would be hunted down and brought to justice. Memphis the Great promised to deliver his delayed performance for King Wangchuck as soon as he could obtain a good meal, a full night's sleep, and a clean shirt. And then handout number 3. October 28th, 1915. Young conjurer Harold Hawking pulled something special out of his hat yesterday, an apprenticeship to Memphis the Great. The two will work together to develop a new show for Hawkins, who hopes to follow in his mentor's world-spanning footsteps. It's a dream come true for me, said Hawkins. I always believed that those long nights spent practicing in front of the mirror in my room would pay off. I'm going to need a bigger room to practice in now. Dark times are when people need magic more than ever, said Memphis the Great. It's time I encourage the next generation of performers, and I intend to start with Harold here. He's fooled me once or twice. Hawkins has already gained a reputation for his skill in cigarette and coin manipulation. He will turn 20 next month.
All right. So you've gotten some information there more about the trip and that
Yeah,
Josephine was
was
also
there and part of
there.
it.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to risk it, you can talk to her too.
You know, I admit, yeah, I think I would.
Okay. Well,
Do I know, like, is she,
she is local. She has not purchased anything directly from you herself.
okay,
Because it's pretty much been on Memphis's dime.
sure,
So you don't really have an address for her.
okay.
Trying to think if there's anything. You might need to convene with the other players, and she might show up at the house, or you could ask Ingrid.
Could be at the magic show tonight.
Yeah, she could be at the magic show tonight.
Oh, that's a good point.
Um,
Well, I will definitely take some notes down. I did definitely note that she was part of the whatever happened in the Himalayas. I will definitely kind of note that down.
yeah.
And then
You could actually, honestly, you could go up to the librarian and ask for a phone book, because this is the 1920s
sure,
and phone books still are a thing.
yeah, I can. I would go ahead and do that.
Just
Okay.
call the operator.
Yeah. Or you could call an operator too.
I think I'd rather look it up than necessarily touch base with an operator to transfer me over, primarily because I kind of want to keep my approach a little bit of a surprise, for dramatic effect,
There you go.
like you do as a magician.
There you go. So she is listed. So the phone number, I don't really know if it lists this in the phone book back in the day, but I'm just gonna say it does. So a lot of times when people are renting apartments, they can't necessarily afford their own phone line at this
Right,
time.
it's just like a main line
Yeah,
for
it's
the
like in the
building kind
hallway.
of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
gotcha.
she's listed under group of tenants for this building, and it gives the main phone number.
Okay.
And it does, because they a lot of times give the address too. You do kind of note what you think is odd, because you have seen her vehicle at your shop before,
Sure.
and her vehicle is it's ostentatious. Like you would think that it's actually Memphis's car, but it's not. It's hers.
Okay.
And it is like a bright blue Cadillac. And the part that's really defined on that is that the front part is an eagle head of it's in the Egyptian style. So I don't remember the god off
Oh,
the top of
okay.
my head, but the god that has like the eagle head.
That might be like Ra.
Yeah. It has
I
that
don't remember.
it has that sort of I forget what they call it, but they have old cars will have them where they have like the Buick symbol in the front.
Yeah, like the hood ornament.
Horus is
Yeah.
the eagle.
Horus. It's the
Okay.
Horus symbol.
Horus.
And so
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So her car is very nice and very flashy and very fast. Because
And
you kind
easy
of
to identify.
yeah. The address for the section of town that she lives in is
Mm-hmm.
not a ritzy area.
Okay.
It's kind of the poorer side of town where like the cheap
Interesting.
apartments are.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you're kind of surprised that somebody with like that flashy of a car would be in that sort of section of town.
Right. Roughly how big, like population wise, is Arkham?
It's probably a little bit smaller than Boston.
So still a pretty decently sized town. Like
Yeah.
back in that time, still easily over maybe 100,000 people, give or take,
Yeah, it's probably closer to like
or more. I guess I don't know.
probably closer
Population.
to probably closer to like 80.
Okay,
So
but
it
definitely a large population.
yeah.
Okay.
It's not quite it's one of those college towns that it is big and has a decent population, but it still kind of feels small town in a way. Or it has that
Okay.
own vibe, even though it's not small town. If that makes sense. So kind of like a
Gotcha.
I don't know, like I would say like kind
Kind
of
of
like
like
how
Duluth.
Duluth, where it's like one of the biggest areas up north, but it still kind of feels small towny.
A big small town. Gotcha.
Yeah. And definite college town.
Sure.
Like pretty much everybody's somehow connected to the university, either directly or through family or friends.
Okay.
Sort of. But we'll kind of leave you with that.
Sure.
But you do have her address. From what you know of her, I will say she has, even though you do know her and you've had a couple conversations with
I
her.
know she's got a temper though.
Yeah. So it might behoove you to have someone else with her or with you.
Yeah.
I'll kind of give you this because you have interacted with her in Memphis before in the past. She is someone where flattery will kind of get you everywhere with her.
Gotcha.
And like not being flat. Yeah, flattery is kind of key to her like appearance, and she makes between you and Betsy being down there, she'd rather talk to you than Betsy.
Sure.
So she's one of those types. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else, so I think we'll switch it over to Stanley and Ronnie, and we'll probably end. Well, we'll see how the clamp goes. Let me. And that
So,
is the one
Are
location
we
I did not.
walking? Are we walking there? Are we driving there? Or how are we getting there?
I don't think Stanley has a car, does he?
Right.
Nope.
Oh, well, Josh took his car back
Yeah.
from
He
David.
did.
I forget who all has a car. I think Betsy has a car.
Yeah, Betsy has the truck.
Which, Chris or Melissa, do either of you have a car?
No, they use John's. Dr. John's.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they did. So you guys probably used the truck. William probably
Yes.
walked.
Jessica had a car when she was
Yeah,
sane.
she played Dr. John.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, I would say either walking. You could get a cab, but you'd probably want them to stop a few blocks away
Right.
or tell them that you're going to a different location.
Yeah. That's probably what I normally do to get there, right? When I'm in town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just flag
probably.
a cab.
So I probably just flag a cab and be like, yeah, just go to this, give them a
Yeah,
different
go to the diner.
give them whatever my address is. I give them whatever my normal address to give a cab when
Yeah.
I'm going there is.
Yeah, and then kind of loiter around a bit and then make your way over to the speakeasy.
And I'll say,
Easy.
what kind of other weird shit was my brother into? Say on the ride over while we're waiting for the cab.
Stanley just kind of pointedly looks from Ronnie to the cab driver to Ronnie. But
Was he into scientific shit too? I mean, I know your
No.
other friends are scientists.
Definitely not David. It was really diving headfirst into the stuff we were discovering.
Oh, he discovered. Boy, did he discover. I thought maybe he
Yeah.
just had some of your friends' stuff.
What do you
maybe
mean?
that's it. Maybe we'll get it to them down the road. My dad wanted to talk to them about stuff anyhow. He's got all that on him. Paperwork and sheets and formulas or stuff. He said it wasn't magic related.
How much did David actually share about the stuff he was studying? I remember he was pretty talkative.
Yeah, you would know that he was making mead.
He was trying to brew some kind of strange magic. And Stanley looks at the driver and then lowers his voice. Magic booze?
Yeah, we ran across that too. There was other stuff, other weird things. Like I said, we'll just have my dad look at if you don't know nothing. Have my dad talk to the two medical scientists. What do they do again? I didn't really talk with them much.
The geologist and the scientist.
Yeah.
You found the
Yeah. I burnt that doll. It doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, some of the things that he found and the places that he found them, you wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Well, if you were...
Stan.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say Stanley, make an int check.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Up
Keep
by
going.
2? You want to spend 2 luck?
No.
Well, whatever you guys were into. I just want my mom and dad to get their hands washed of it. If you need help with stuff like I can come help out, get rid of whatever his stuff is, but my dad got up to the room before I did. Found a lot of the things he probably didn't want to see. So now he's got
I don't know.
questions.
I don't know how deep you want to go into this stuff, you know, about what your brother was really into.
I don't know either. Be fair. But obviously he had some sort of problem. And I'm guessing from what I understand of the circumstances that I'm sorry, trampled by cattle. At a slaughterhouse?
Well, no offense, the guy couldn't keep himself healthy. He was one of the most accident-prone people I've ever met.
That of all his faults, that's not one of them I would have pegged.
Well, when was the last time you talked or hung out with your brother?
Before he abandoned us for the war?
Long time.
I mean, I've seen him in passing, but I usually make sure I'm not there when he's there. I spent most of my time after he left making money to pay the bills. Although, I guess he was sending, Ronnie puts his hand on his pocket where he sees the letters. He's like, I guess he was sending money home. I didn't know that. Apparently there were other bills I didn't know about either.
I think in that lull of the conversation, the taxi driver arrives at the location and is like, well, here
Thanks.
you are, boys.
Thanks, Mac. I give him some money and a tip.
Yeah, get out. You want to, as now that we're
And then I'll smack the cabin, like the tail light area, be like, all right, we're out, you can go, sort of situation.
Now that
Yeah.
we're not have somebody listening to us, I'll be like, do you really want to know what it was that did your brother in?
He pauses for a long moment and goes, I just want to know that line is a bunch of BS. I don't need to know what it is. Unless I need to know what it is. If it's related to any of this, then I'm going to want to know. But since you guys are here, you guys will know.
Stanley like puts both of his hands on Ronnie's shoulder. He's like uses a little bit of his 90 strength and like iron grips it and says with a very serious and somewhat shaken look on his face, monsters are real. And I ain't fucking talking about the humankind. And he walks over to the speakeasy.
Ronnie's like, in the back of his mind's like, this guy's fucking nuts. I'm glad he's with me when we go into this place. And I like pass you by and get to the front door first and do whatever the secret knock is.
Yeah.
Yeah, as he's going, Stanley just has sort of a 1,000-yard stare because he's had so many bouts of madness throughout all of this.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of screws loose.
Yeah. Like even yeah, you've been through what the groundskeeper is currently going through like multiple times.
Yeah.
So you kind of just disassociate for a little bit. So the speakeasy, the entrance to it, it looks like a generic fire exit to the building.
Right.
So it's down a dark alley. You rap on the door in like the certain pattern of code, and the man opens it. He's a huge guy with scarred face. He has a suit, but it's pretty dirty.
Okay.
You know him. His name's Charles. He goes, Ronnie.
Charles. He's with me.
Cool. Well, he doesn't say cool.
Whatever
Says
the-
whatever.
Whatever the 20 is, the 20 is the
yeah,
equivalent of cool.
Yeah, just nods. So he lets you in.
Okay.
So you don't need to do an intimidate or bribe check. So behind him, there's a tight, grubby staircase, leads down to another door, and then behind that door is the speakeasy called the Clamp.
Okay.
There's some crude booths along one wall. There's an unoccupied stage along another. There's a bar with it's not filled with people now because it's the middle of the day, but the people that are there are kind of rough looking. And on the back wall are just, some beer and spirits, which again, it's not great taste.
No.
Wise. But if you want to get drunk, it'll definitely get you drunk.
Yeah.
But you just will probably pay a lot for it. The lighting's really low. The barman, you've talked to him before. He's slow-eyed, silent-faced. He's like seen a lot in life and is kind of mostly lost at it, but he's somebody that's not easily intimidated,
Yeah.
And his name is Joe. You're a regular patron, but all the booze that you've normally gotten is, very low quality. You have heard in the grapevine that Mr. Vaughn does have some of the good stuff.
Okay.
But that's only reserved for him and then people that he deems important.
Yeah.
You haven't really talked much to Mr. Vaughn other than kind of in passing. But you've seen other people talk to him. He does have like bodyguards with him that you've kind of talked to more. So you could go up to them to try to have a conversation. Could maybe try the bartender.
Yeah, I'll just ask. I'll knock on the table, and I'll be like, usual one for each of us.
Right.
And is Vaughn in?
Yeah, he's in back. Why, you got deal for him or something?
Yeah, I don't normally talk to him, you know that, but I got something he might want to know.
Okay. Well, I could maybe put in a good word.
I wasn't
If
sure if
the
I should talk
price-
to you or one of his guys over there. See if they can talk to him quick.
Sure. Uh,
I don't want to bug you. You've got work to do.
nah, but for, a well-paying customer like yourself, I could mosey my way over there. You
Yeah, I'll give him a few extra.
a few extra.
A few
Okay.
extra. And if I have any like, because do they use like chips, in-house chips for this place when they're for the gambling and stuff? Or is it just like straight cash on the table that they gamble
It's
with?
probably it's straight cash. It's not bougie enough for their own type of chips.
Gotcha.
So he takes the money and he's like, all right, it's slow. Watch the bar. If anybody comes up, tell them to hold their horses.
Okay. And then
So-
and then I'll warn Stanley before he drinks it and be like, it's a little harsh. And then I'll shoot it as fast as possible to get it down.
Yeah.
I think Stanley sips it a little and makes a face.
Yeah.
Warned you. Just take it quick and hard. Best way to do it.
Like, I don't even think Stanley's much of a drinker.
He's not.
No.
I think he drinks it and he's just kind of like.
There you go. Show that glass who's boss.
All right. So you guys wait probably like 15, 20 minutes. The bartender kind of takes his time to kind of take this opportunity to have a break too.
Yeah. What was that cop's name, by the way, again?
Detective
Uh,
Edwards.
Detective Edwards.
Okay.
And then a few moments later, the bartender comes back with one of another man in another cheap and kind of dirty looking suit. This one it's probably a little bit cleaner than the front desk or the front door guy. It's like kind of ironed.
Okay.
And the bartender says, Mr. Vaughn will see you. He's curious.
Sounds good. Thanks, man. And I
Yep.
stack the glasses and I put it on the table for him. And
Perfect.
follow.
Yeah, and the lackey doesn't really say anything much to you guys. He just kind of nods. You do notice that the bodyguards here are open carrying weapons, and some of them are more than just pistols. They're the Tommy guns.
Yeah.
So you follow.
But there is
Oh,
one or two you said that I knew.
Yeah, and you knew
I'll just say
I
their
guess
name when I walk by them. I'll just nod and be like, Billy,
yeah. I was gonna say make a luck roll to see if you have any enemies here, because you do gamble. Okay, you have not won at cards so much that you've caused somebody to not be able to pay rent for a month or something.
Yeah.
Or
I
they have it
probably
out for
even know
you.
better than to do that in a place like this.
Yeah.
Or owe
Oh.
anybody money here.
Yeah, or owe anybody money.
And for the most part, Ronnie's legit unless Ronnie catches people cheating and his only option is to cheat back. Ronnie doesn't
Right.
cheat unless unless it's a situation like that. At which case he can usually out cheat the cheaters.
Yeah. So he takes you over to the back section of the speakeasy that's a little bit nicer. And sitting there is an African American man. I'll show this to everyone. He does have two eyes. The other one's just real shaded. Oh shoot, where did my other thing go? And he stands up and he's like, Ronnie, and he extends a hand.
I shake his hand. Mr. Vaughn?
Yep.
Pleasure to chat with you.
And
This is
Yeah.
Stanley Ace, well-known boxer. Local to the area.
oh,
You've probably heard of him.
yeah, I have heard of you. You did a stand in Atlantic City, huh?
It did. Yeah.
Yeah. Irish mob is rough, huh?
I think to that Stanley doesn't stays kind of pointedly
Yeah.
silent.
I go, Stanley's a friend of the family. He was a close friend of my brother's.
My condolences.
Thanks. Listen,
Um,
I guess
yeah, well,
I got some information. And I look around the room and I go, Mr. Edwards says that sometimes he speaks with you.
that he does.
He
I
has some. He kind of said that maybe I could talk to you on his behalf since he hasn't had time to chat with you yet.
Well, that's good. I've been kind of expecting him to give me an update about.
Just hand him the file.
Oh, perfect.
We're
We're looking into the Leary brothers.
Yeah, those poor kids.
that whole
No.
situation is a mess, and I don't think all the information is going to be in that file. And people are looking for us to look to get more information, and it might help if we knew more information about the kids, so we could get you more information about what happened with the kids.
I appreciate it. I was just over at Mrs. Leary's house. Poor woman. We had to make sure that she was set up for retirement now with her 3 boys gone. Her husband's gone too.
Well, that's a bummer.
So
Any
not
idea what the boys are doing over there?
you know, let me just double check.
Again, the more we know, the more we can let you know.
You know, the boys are honestly, they're independent contractors. I've been trying to bring them into the internal business for a while, but kids, they like to do their own thing and think they know what's best. And they don't realize the dangers they get themselves into, and then shit like this happens.
I raise my hand and be like, guilty as charged.
So they did some contracting work for us once in a while, or they would do their independent work, but they always came in and paid their dues. And we let them kind of do business as usual. I didn't think that they would actually break into Magician's house, though, ever. But, I mean, Memphis is a celebrity. They were probably thinking that he had money or cash stashed somewhere. They're not.
They would have just asked. I forget her name again. Who comes in here out of character?
Josephine.
Josephine. You think
Huh!
Josephine's in here enough? They could have tried to become friends with her instead and saved themselves their lives.
They're too poor to become friends with Josephine.
Yeah, I suppose.
Anybody they were meeting with here up until that?
No, I'm perfectly honest. This type of breaking and entering, like, we don't. Memphis wouldn't be a target of ours. Too much of a celebrity. And that's not the kind of business we're into.
Well, it sounds like it was kind of sloppy, so maybe they were trying to do something just on their own.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's usually what they have been doing. Most of the stuff they've been doing is small time stuff. They've done some liquor runs for us usually, but I've heard through the grapevine that they did some other minor break-ins.
Are they looking for anyone else, or do they have a hidey hole anywhere that maybe we can check out and find out what happened? I'm sure their mom isn't gonna really think, hey, that this, they all offed each other. They're not gonna believe that crap.
No.
We don't believe that either, for the record.
Wow, and they wouldn't kill each other. they loved each other. They were very close.
Right.
They wanted to try to start their own mini gang with the three of them. Hold on a second. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Personally, I think that, not to point fingers, but I think it's something. I think somebody in the magic circles had something to do with it, or was maybe caught them in the act and they were there trying to steal something of Memphis's. These boys would just try to be stealing cash, any jewelry, stuff that they could easily turn over in front. They wouldn't be messing around with props or whatever, ropes, whatever this thing is.
But one person, even a magician, taking on 3 young, healthy men? Let me tell you, I'm a prize fighter. That'd be hard for me. 3 on 1.
Yeah.
Even if you got a weapon.
Wow, maybe there was multiple.
Do they hang out
As
anywhere
far as
else? Place we could go look?
they
Anything really?
I'm looking in here.
Gotcha.
I'm
It
like,
says in the book, this is the dead end. The characters
Yeah.
are wasting their time.
yeah, that's why I'm like, I thought there was like more.
This is beyond the scope of this adventure.
This is beyond the
Pretty
scope of the
much.
adventure.
Yeah, he'll give you some locations, but like they're just other speakeasies in town. They used to work. They kind of have stayed away from the Irish mob. So, and Ronnie, you kind of know this. The Irish mob used to be the bigger gang in Arkham,
Okay.
or the bigger mafia. But after what happened with the David, like that whole incident with the drug situation,
Yeah.
a lot of their guys, were killed in that instance.
Yeah.
And they kind of got rerouted a little bit. So now their hold here in Arkham is lessened, and Mr. Vaughn is kind of taking over more territory.
Okay.
And so he'll say that, like, even though they've kind of been independently working, mostly they've worked for him. So this was kind of always their meeting place.
Gotcha.
But they were types, they had like high hopes and dreams. And like he kept trying to like tone them down a little bit. So from his perspective, they kind of just went after this
on their own,
just hoping to hit it big with finding like a safe deposit box or something. And he'll give you like, they lived with their mother. They had a little tidy place like in the woods near her house, and he'll just say, just for ease of reference, because I don't want you guys to waste your time on it, that he looked there and there wasn't anything that like suggested like someone hired them or anything like that. Mr. Vaughn would offer, if you can find out the reason, like he had one thought of potentially it being another magician. He's also wondering if, because he did take over from the Irish mob, if maybe somebody from the Irish Mafia got wind
Oh, and it's like retaliation.
and is doing a retaliation.
Gotcha.
So, and he will say he's not taking their deaths like personally from the Memphis side of things or necessarily from the police.
Yeah.
But if you guys, he will counteroffer that if you guys do find out information and are able to provide him with information with actually what happened to them and kind of clear them of killing each other for ease of Mrs. Leary, their mother, for her ease of mind, that then he would owe, he would either be willing to pay or potentially like be open to further information dealings. Kind of like a very small limited favor
Yeah. I like
type thing.
And Ronnie doesn't want anything to do with that shit. He just wants to make money gambling. So he goes. So he just looks at Stanley and goes, "Well, I think Stanley and his friends are doing investigation work on the side. So they're the ones that you could go to down the road for stuff. I'm just kind of the in between, and my brother is friends. My dad knew Memphis, and that's kind of why we got pulled into this.
Sure. Well, Stanley, if you come around more often, or if I need to if you need to get a message to me, you can go through Ronnie and then reach me in the future if you guys are able to provide more information. I don't know if it matters. I don't really talk much to Josephine, but if you guys hang her, well, I know that there's that magic show tonight. Maybe she'll be there.
Yeah,
otherwise,
we'll be there tonight
if you,
too.
yeah, if she's not there tonight, she'll probably be here drinking. If you want to maybe talk to her. Good luck.
I don't want to talk to her. I've seen what happens when you are on the good side of her, and I hate to get on the bad side.
Yeah, well, maybe Stanley can protect you.
Maybe. No offense, Stanley.
Just make sure she has her switchblade, or she keeps her hands on the table.
Stanley just like fiddles with his wedding ring, like he doesn't say it, but he's like, I don't want to associate with someone like her.
Yeah, nobody wants to talk to her.
And I go, is there a chance we can get the files back when you're here before we head out?
Yeah, here you go.
Thanks.
He's like, I don't abide by all the laws, but I don't really want police evidence here.
Nope.
So.
And then we'll see ourselves out.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of weird. They set up like this whole thing. The only thing you really learn is just that the Leary brothers are just
it just reinforces
that
they wouldn't have killed each other is really what it is. It reinforces
and also that they weren't really working for anyone.
Right.
No. Yep. But I think well, just real quick for the forensic people, did you guys think of any other questions?
I have not.
Okay.
Did the Leary brothers, here's one for them in their stead, did the Leary brothers, it's a simple one, have any weapons on them when they were recovered?
I would just, yeah, they probably had knives or like switchblades. And probably one had a pistol. Oh, no, I retcon that. They would probably just have knives because again, they were breaking and entering. So they wouldn't want to leave any evidence behind that would tie them back. to where they're found, or if they like had something fall out of their pocket. Seems like they were fairly confident that they had either staked out the place for a while, or they had heard that the magician hasn't been home in a long time. But I think on that note, I'm assuming everybody would meet up.
Yeah.
And probably with the time that's spent, it's probably like, I would say, what did I say before? 11 o'clock? It's
Yeah.
probably between 1 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Kind of with all that time that's passed, just for my planning purposes.
Okay.
Would you guys think that you would want to go to the house next? Or
I think we were talking about going to the house.
I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I have a
Sound-
feeling that by the time we're done at the house, we'll want to be coming back to start getting ready to go to the show.
Yeah, and you might not
Yeah.
get through all the house before getting ready for the show.
That's fair.
So when we start next time, we can kind of assume that like everybody's picked a meeting place and have kind of like shared information.
Yeah.
And then I think next time we'll just start directly at the house. And
Sounds
then
good.
afterwards the magic show.
Sounds good.
So
Perfect.
All right. So for those that are watching, I believe we have the next episode for the 23rd, right, of next month. We talked about it a little bit earlier. So people that are watching, if you want to catch the next installment, it'll be the 23rd of April, which is just about a month out. At least
Yeah.
that's what I have written down on my calendar that we discussed earlier. So with that being said, we also have next week is the continuation of the Stolen Souls Claimers Conquest, the Stolen Conquest merger crossover game. That continues next week right here, same time as our normal tabletop RPGs. So definitely want to come in and join us for that. Thank you, of course, for the raid to Death's Joker. Much appreciated, Death's Joker. If you're out there, wherever you are, take care of yourself. Have a good evening and take care. For everybody that has been here, that's been hanging out, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow for more Cyberpunk during the day, so you can come and join us for that. Some Tangia dungeons and lots of fun and shenanigans, of course. Once again, a reminder that Monday is our affiliate anniversary, so we'll be celebrating not only St. Patty's Day, but our affiliate anniversary. So we'll be doing some community games. There'll be some giveaways and stuff like that. So come and definitely check that out on Monday. Off the Pod is pushed to Tuesday with Gabrielle Harbaway. So all kinds of stuff next week. So thank you so much for hanging out and being here. We're going to raid on out to our friends over at Dungeon Scrawlers. They're doing some tabletop role playing run by the one and only Eric Scott DeBee. He is the GM over there. It's a great time. So go and say hello. Use my raid emotes, your raid emotes, anybody's raid emotes. I don't care what you do. Just say hello and make your voices heard. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Rachel for running a Call of Cthulhu, and thank you to all of our players for being here tonight. Have a good night, everybody. Take care, and we will see you down the road.